This is, why don't the rich pay their share? In 1955, the top 400 Americans in the U.S. Paid 3 times as much income tax as they are today. And if they were paying the same tax they paid in 1955, which, by the way, was a period of great stability, we would have an additional $35.9 billion if everybody who made over $2 million in the U.S., which was the 91% tax rate back then, if they were paying a comparable income tax rate, which would be 49% in 1955, actually, after deductions. Right now they're paying 23%. We would have collected an additional $200 billion. That seems like a good thing if our government is using it appropriately. It's a bad thing if our government is using it to bail out bankrupt banks.
Yeah, but well, I mean, exactly. Here's my point. Is the big bankers come in, they lobby for higher taxes on the middle class and the working class. They then take our money and bail out for themselves and give themselves bonuses. That's how this works. And if you study it, as you know, if you make about $1 million a year or $200,000, $300,000 a year, you're paying about 35–40% because the deductions, you can't count them now. But as soon as you start making $5, $10, $20 million a year, you drop down to 20%. Then you've got all these lawyers and firms. And what did Bush...
This is why I say roll back the Reagan tax cuts.
Well, I mean, what did Bush do? As you know, he took almost all the FBI off the billionaires and put them on blue collar.
I know. It's nuts. And here we are, the paleo-conservative and the paleo-liberal, Alex Jones and Thom Hartmann simulcasting, prisonplanet.com, infowars.com, thomhartmann.com. Alex, we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay, for our AM and FM affiliates, you need to know that we do these simulcasts. I've done it with Press TV and British radio and TV and other radio shows, syndicated radio shows. It was Thom Hartmann's idea to do this. I appreciate him having us on the show. We're going to be rejoining them here in about a minute. And then in the next hour, we're going to be talking about the Oath Keepers, police and military, saying they won't confiscate guns, they won't violate the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And that goes into the context of all these government databases and government reports demonizing gun owners, saying we're the #1 threat to the country and are basically terrorists. So that is coming up. And then later in the last hour, our crew's down in San Antonio at a tea party that's going to be starting right as the show's ending, so they'll be able to tell you what's happening down there with a report from that one that Glenn Beck is going to be at. I've got a bunch of other important news here as well that I'll be covering next hour. And I know we've got callers. Adrian in North Carolina, Dave, Helen, Jeremy, Danny, and others. So we're going to go ahead
and welcome back to the Thom Hartmann radio program, simulcasting with the Alex Jones radio show. And Alex Jones and I. Alex, your turn to pick a caller.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's take a couple of them. Adrian in North Carolina, you're on the air with Thom Hartmann. Go ahead.
And Alex Jones.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. All I called in about was today is, of course, the Tea Party that a lot of us are having in our capitals. We live in Raleigh, North Carolina, so we'll be participating in our Tea Party here starting at 6:30 p.m., and we have copied off your copies, actually our copies of your film, The Obama Deception, as you said publicly we could do.
Yes.
And we will be, and we will be handing that out to as many people who would like to have it. We're also going to be videoing it. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Absolutely. And for Thom, I mean, just for Thom real fast, I'll let you finish. I appreciate you calling. See, the Obama Deception, as you know, Thom, exposes the left and the right, tries to shatter that paradigm. And so we go to these...
I understand. Yeah, no, I saw it. In fact, I've been advocating, for 3 days, I've been telling my listeners, Alex, go to the tea parties. I've got a piece on commondreamstoday.org, for example, that says, the original Tea Party was a revolt against the British East India Company. It was a revolt against the world's largest corporation getting a massive tax break.
Global corporate crime syndicate.
That's right. That's exactly what it was. The original Tea Party was against global, and so I'm telling my listeners to go to these tea parties and hold up signs that say things like, get us out of the WTO, get us out of NAFTA. I mean, these are things that...
Yeah, but what you're going to find is...
Tax the rich,
leftists
tax the corporations.
But, Thom, leftists are going to show up with these signs, and they're going to find they agree with, quote, Republicans about ending NAFTA and GATT.
I know, that's my point.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that I think that actually, as Americans, Alex, who believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, there's more that unites us than divides us.
I agree, and that's what Fox News wants. They want to make it a phony, neocon, mainline right-wing movement. Just like in the 80s, they took over Christian conservatives. They've ridden that horse to death now.
Well, it's not just Fox News. I think, the corporate media right across the board is playing into this.
Well, they're trying to jump on the Ron Paul, Alex Jones horse, and it's not going to work. And again, I will say this, at least the left, people like Oberman, are admitting that Obama is worse than Bush on many things like civil liberties, which I thought was impossible.
I absolutely honor Keith Olbermann and Rachel Maddow. But
the Republicans wouldn't do that. The Republicans wouldn't do that.
No, they would never do that with Bush.
Oh, no. But
not
Bush
until
has
after
done
he's
no
long
wrong.
gone.
Oh,
yeah.
He's perfect.
Shall we pick up another caller from my end or from your end, Alex?
Let's take one from my end because we've already taken some there. Real fast, though. Dave in California. Dave, you're on the air with Thom Hartmann. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. You're the best guest on George Norrie's show, by the way. I do want to say chemtrails are being ignored, and it's ridiculous to discuss global warming when you don't mention chemtrails. Thanks a lot.
Oh, yeah, Tom, did you know that we discovered thousands of declassified government documents? They call it testing, where they are adding to the jet fuel, barium salts, and other things, and aluminum dioxide that is spraying the atmosphere. And now Obama's come out and said, you know what, we need to go ahead and think about doing this. And then he cites the Council on Foreign Relations playbook that calls for terraforming the planet to save us from global warming, when this spraying actually shows it'll heat the Earth.
Yeah, I know that there have been some pretty crazy suggestions about how to, that, and let's seed the oceans with iron and things like that. But
they tried that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's take one of your calls.
Okay, Kevin in Pittsburgh. Kevin, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. I had a couple questions for Alex. He talks about how the government wants to kill 80% of us.
Oh, boy.
They caused 9/11. They want to microchip us. If we go out and do anything, they're going to put us in FEMA camps.
That's not what I'm saying.
But anytime someone calls up and asks Alex, well, why do you even want small government? Why don't you push for no government? He's the first one to defend government, and he'll tell us how much we still need government. So the funniest thing is, after you hear Alex complain about government for months and months, you ask him, well, how about no government? He's the first one to defend it and tell us how great it is. And,
well, sir,
Kevin, thank you.
Wow. Look, such a thing as pure anarchy doesn't exist in groups of bigger than... go with your buddies camping for a week.
No, and communism doesn't work in groups smaller than 150 people. And libertarianism has never succeeded anywhere in the world. So there's got to be some middle ground.
I think we should move more towards smaller government, more liberty, but that individuals have to be involved in their communities to have liberty.
Yes.
So I want people to be self-sufficient. I want people to have local control. And I do want to reduce the size of government, because corporations come in and use the big government to suck off of us.
Well, here's the problem. How do we get the corporation? I take this back to a couple of Supreme Court rulings, all the way back to 1886, Santa Clara County versus Southern Pacific Railroad. I wrote a whole book about that called Unequal Protection, and it's in several of my other books, We the People and What Would Jefferson Do? And then, there have been several, First Bank of Boston versus Bilotti and others that have said that, free speech is money and corporations are the same as persons. We've got to change the definition of corporations in this country, Alex, and get them out of the political arena.
Yeah, absolutely. These corporations commit all these crimes, and then they're supposedly immune, or the people that are standing behind the corporations are immune. We certainly
or like Halliburton, they moved to the UAE or Dubai.
Well, Halliburton was involved giving weapon systems to Iran, but suddenly the fake conservatives don't care. In fact, where is Rush Limbaugh on the bailouts? He's actually for the bonuses, calling that free market. It's not free market to have a bunch of pirates running your government, feeding the public trough, down their gullets. Again, look at how Obama is in agreement with Rush Limbaugh when it comes to the bailouts and the bonuses and all of this. They're all on one team. Why did Obama get 4 times the corporate Wall Street things that McCain got?
But let's just be honest about this, Alex. It's not just Obama. All your charges against Obama can just as easily be made against James Inhofe.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Is let's get past the two puppets they've got in front of us, and let's look at who's controlling the puppets. I want to talk about the New World Order. That's what Infowars.com covers. And plug your website. website? thom.Pt.4?
Yeah. All my books are there, and our show is there. We got about 15 seconds here, by the way, before we have to wrap up this hour.
Tom, thanks for having me on. It was great having you here.
Alex, it's been fascinating, and I find your Obama deception video. There's, as I said, there's probably about a third of it are things that I strongly disagree with, but I think that it raises a lot of issues that we all need to be talking about.
Well, it's free on the web. Google the Obama deception, or go to Infowars.com or thomhartmann.com. You can link up to it, Tom.
There you go. And we will with today's
Tom,
blog.
let's do this a couple times a year. Take care, buddy.
It would be a lot of fun, Alex. Good talking with you. Thanks for being on. Alex Jones, Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com.
thomhartmann.com.
We're back with the Firesign Theater.